You have this beautiful new clothes that are basically really at the forefront of some of the technology that can be used to make clothes more sustainable. Fashion is 8% of carbon emissions. What are you here to achieve?
Thank you for having me. I'm here to represent one of the most harmful industries on the planet. There's very few fashion houses that can be here, so I feel very honored, but I'm really trying to shine a light on how harmful the industry is to the environment, to the people that work in it sometimes, and certainly the animals that are killed for it. So we're here to provide solutions. You know, I'm always trying to look at the positive, and as a brand, we really do. We don't kill any animals, we don't use fur or leathers, and we don't use any PVC. So I'm here to talk about the industry, to provide a sustainable solution, and also to encourage, you know, the leaders in the room to wake up and help us change policy and bring in legislation.
But there's all these amazing textiles that look like leather that are not leather. And I know through the years they've been changing. Some are with seaweed or kelp. But the latest one is actually a collaboration that you're doing with Clicquot, and it's using grape skin to make this.
Yeah, we've been exploring this area for over 25 years at Stella McCartney, so a lot has changed. And here, you know, at COP, we're showing the young innovators and these new businesses that are swapping out bad for good. So, yeah, we've been using mushroom leathers and all different kinds of leathers. But for the example you're saying, we're using the waste industry, all of the grapes and the grape skins from a Clicquot collaboration. It's super exciting because these are two very harmful industries, leather and wine. So to bring it into a product, and it's a beautiful bag, and it's basically solving the issues and hopefully still being sexy and desirable at the same time.
Is this scalable? So are you seeing actually more adoption of some of these, you know, I don't know if you call it, what do you call it, fake leather? No.
We call it faux leather. We call it, you know, it's an alternative. There are some that are really scalable. We have one here at COP that we're showcasing called Mirum, which is a plastic-free non-leather, and it's absolutely the same as a real leather to touch and to look, and it goes through the same rigorous testing. But it is plastic-free, it's natural, and it is absolutely incredible, and it's scalable. And that is one of the most important questions, for sure. We have so many other innovations here that you're seeing behind me. We have, you know, knitwear made out of algae knit. We have incredible, completely 360 breakdownable polyesters made from enzyme, you know, techniques. So some are more scalable than others, but we have a mixture here.
But is there interest from other fashion companies to maybe collaborate so that it's not only your brand, but it becomes more widely adopted? Do customers want it?
Yeah, customers want it. I think what we do at Stella McCartney is we try to inform people. You know, we're here, we're trying to create beautiful, desirable products to stand shoulder to shoulder with our industry, to show that you don't have to be harmful to the planet, you know, and you can still create beautiful, desirable things. But we have the solutions. Other people are trying to adopt it, but I think we really need the consumers to have the information. They need to know that a truckload of fast fashion is burned every single second or buried. You know, they need to know that over 1 billion animals are killed every year, that the chemicals used to tan leathers can be cancerous to the people that are having to work with them. And if you have that information, then hopefully you will consume in a more conscious way.
Do you think leaders need to regulate it? So you mentioned you spend also a lot of your time here at COP speaking to world leaders, speaking to business executives. Are they listening? Are we going to have something concrete, or is it just not one of their priorities right now?
It's lower down the priority list, but that is honestly why I'm here. I'm kind of in the face of people, and I think it's my job as a sustainable fashion designer to really highlight that we need policy change. We need to as an industry, we're one of the most harmful, one of the second most harmful in the world. And we need to have limitations put on us, like all of the other industries that are less harmful. We need to work together to achieve this, but we also need to be incentivized. I think the future of fashion, the future brands of fashion, the next generation need to have incentives. I can get taxed up to 30% more on a non-leather good going into America, which is crazy. I take that on my margin, and I'm penalized for working in a more sustainable way. So definitely we need to get laws passed that will basically help my industry be a better, cleaner industry.
Yeah, and I guess the product is more expensive to start with because of the technology that goes into it. It's certainly at early stage.
Yeah, we develop a lot at Stella McCartney. We work incredibly closely with our suppliers. I mean, we have a regenerative cotton here. I'm wearing it right now, and that took us years to work with a family-run company called Sakas in Turkey. And they started with 5 hectares that they gave for our pilot, and now they're at 200 hectares. So, you know, unless we start working in this way, we're not going to see the suppliers even be incentivized to do it either.
And so what kind of conversations are you having with LVMH? So they have a minority stake, but are they listening? Do they want to do better on sustainability?
Yeah, I mean, I think it gives a huge signal to the world, to the fashion world, that Bernard Arnault is my business partner, and you know, he's very invested in this. I'm his chief sustainable advisor, and these are the conversations I'm having with him. And you know, he knows that this is the future, and I think to infiltrate from within is kind of what I do. It's what my relationship with the fashion industry is, to show there is another way. So yeah, we're working hard at trying to make change.
And of course, you know, some say we should just consume less. How do you marry the two? Like, continue selling, having a fashion brand, but making it more sustainable and better for the environment?
I think we should consume less, and I think we should consume better. I think we should invest better. I think it's hard because obviously this comes with a price point. Working in a more sustainable way, being kinder to the planet, kinder to the people that work in the industry of supply and farming for fashion, kinder to the animals. It costs more, you know, that is a sad reality. But at the end of the day, it's the right thing for the planet, it's the right thing for the industry. And out of $500 billion worth of waste from fast fashion every year, there is business opportunity. And we have incredible examples. Protein Evolution is taking waste, it's breaking it down in an enzyme way, and it's basically completely circular. And we're creating a new thread and a polyester product that you can see. So waste can be a business opportunity. And I think vintage fashion, I'm a big advocate of vintage, of thrift stores and renting fashion. I think that these are business models that can be the future, and hopefully gives everyone access to the conversation.